Okay, well, what I'm doing at the moment is I am going to just cover these cutouts that I've got. I'm sort of a bit all over the place, I must admit, but with everything that else is going on across the world, it's probably not a bad thing right now. It seems pretty crazy out there, I must admit, but you all have to hunker down, do the right thing, and hopefully the scientists will come up with something that kills this damn virus that's affecting all of us, because it's just not a happy place to be. So all I'm doing is I'm using this gold size, and I've cut these out. This is obviously a palette, and all I'm going to do is cover this, and I've got some paint tubes that I've cut out as well. But what I'll do is I'll continue to go around just putting all this together, just making sure there's enough. I'm just using this plastic thing at the back so I don't get anything on the painting at all. And I'm just going to cover that in gold, and then I'm going to cover that in paint once again, but I'll do that, and then the other little paint tubes that I've worked out, because they're going to go across the situation as well, and I just cut them out, and then I'm going to gold leaf those and stick the gold leaf on and go from there. I'm just going through the process of bit by bit, because I've got the scene that I've put at the back there, but I want Eric's face to dominate the situation now. So as you can see, I mean, the landscape is still there, but I can't. The last thing you want to do is sort of take that into consideration now. I've planned it to the fact that I've left enough space in the clouds to recognise his face. This is obviously a little bit more complex here, but the end result is that I'll just keep working on this. There's a lot that I've got to do around the edges, of course. It's one of those pieces that you just sort of bit by bit put together. It's a real construction. And then I will continue. You only need slight amounts of water and paint to be able to get this area going, and then always, you know, being aware that you don't want to take your landscape at the back completely away. So there are certain areas that we're going to have to highlight a little bit more than others. I want to try and leave the face as much as I can. I mean, this is a tricky bit here and in here, but generally you can see who it is straight away, and then I'll continue to do what I do. So, as you can see, I'm just continuing to drop in some water in there as well, so not worrying too much about the background now, but you know, trying to be aware that there are certain things I don't want to cut out in the process of doing this. And you've got to work sort of fairly quickly. You don't really want to mix the colours in to that extent. You want that black shade to be the one that comes out in the end. You don't need a lot of paint to do this either. Very, very minuscule amounts, in fact. Get you where you need to go. So this is a sort of fairly laborious process for this one, but in the end it'll achieve what I want it to. I've got my picture just down beside me that I'm using as reference, but I'm just putting these lines in, as I had these really faint pencil lines, and then I'm just using just water really to get these little wrinkles, as we all do as we get older, I must admit. One like so, one like so. And then they sort of tend to round out from the bottom in a lot of cases. So all the way through, and just faint bits of water. I mean, the colour that I've got there is all the colour that I need, and as you can see, it's sort of, I'm going to try and leave this a little lighter up here because it's getting a bit too dark, and I want the sky to be able to pop through so we can still see them juxtaposed against each other. But just all I'm doing is just using water, and just a tiny little bit of water just to drag that line up and through. So as on this one here. So I'll continue to work on this bit by bit, and we'll sort of stop and have a look. And as you can see, I've actually drawn I've started to draw in the various logos and emblems that Eric has for his bootcamp videos, and there'll be other signs for the magazines as well. But I just wanted to sort of get stuck into the face, so I had something to concrete to work on, and it's coming up pretty good, I think. Pretty good indeed. So as you can see, there's barely any moisture in the brush as it is at the moment. I'm just taking my time, just bit by bit, just pushing that around, just with really moist brush. There you go. Now for this particular section, what I'm doing, because I want this to be nice and smooth, is I'm actually just wetting this whole area, making it moist without putting any colour in at all. So as I want that roundness in his forehead, so I'm just actually covering this with water, just plain old water, getting a real good soak in there, all the way down. Didn't want to cover up those lights too much, just sort of wanted to still see the clouds coming through, and push that out to there like so, and really let that soak in to that edge. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drop some colour in, and it's just really light too, but I want to go and try and keep this as moist as I can. But I'm just dropping the colour in like so, all the way down to the side there. But, and you can just see it just sort of flows in there. As if I tried to put the colour on directly, the black on directly, it would have just made streaky lines all the way through it. This way I've actually got control over the density and the flow of the paint at the same time, so all the way up to there, into there. But you can see that that's just so much easier to do. I can bring it out to here a little bit more. Leave that light like so, and then just use the water again to break these down. And you can see that's just a nice even flow across there now. And if I'd have just painted the colour directly onto there, it would have just turned out not the way that I wanted it to, I can assure you. And then up to the top here as well, into there, like so. And you've got to move reasonably quickly. And some more, just water itself. Sometimes you just have to dry that, you get that colour out before you put that down, and there you go, that's looking pretty good so far. And we avoid that streakiness, but you can see that roundness there. And I'll even just, this edge here, I can just see that there. I just want to move that out a bit more so that we've got none of those lines, and you can see a nice even curve all the way around. Well, there you go. That's that finished there. There's some other little bits and pieces I've got to do. And as I said, I've actually cut these little guys out as well, and they'll be different colours with different insignia on them, and they'll be actually put strategically around the rest of the picture also. But as you can see, I'm still working away, and there is Eric's face and the landscape behind. I think it's a pretty good likeness of him, but long way to go yet. As you can see, I've actually sketched out a lot of these other sections, and I'll do more of that this evening as well, and then start gluing other sections onto it later on, but still a long way to go. But yeah, just love doing it, love being creative. I've actually put a lot of Eric's insignia for things that he does around the actual picture, and I've actually, just doing this in red at the moment, what I've done is I've actually mixed the Schminky inks and also red Liquitex, which was fantastic. This stuff is really hard to get hold of in Australia, but it's just a fantastic paint to work with. But I've actually mixed some of those together to form a little bit of a solution, so it comes out a little pasty like this. And then I'm just using a rigger brush to nice and thin, so I can get the strokes that I want. I'm going over the whole picture, just like so, a little time consuming, and like so. So as you see, this is going to take a while, but it all does, and it's just sort of putting the jigsaw puzzle together. I've pretty well much done most of Eric's face. I've just got to finish off some of his hair and some highlights, and then I'm just going to concentrate on putting these bits and pieces together. As you can see, I've got a pretty thin brush there, and I'll go over that whole area. So it's going to take some time. It's like going back to signwriting school. Not that they do that anymore. I did do that many years ago. And there we go. But I'll continue to work on the whole thing, and then we'll come back and reassess. And I've got my palette that I gold leafed as well, as you can see, and then that's going to go in this area just down here, but I've got to put all the other colours in first off, so I shall keep on keeping on. Okay, well, as you can see, I'm sort of still plodding along with just putting this writing down, which is very labour intensive, particularly when you're using such a small brush. It's actually a rigger brush, but it's doing the job. And as you can see, the picture's slowly coming together. Still a lot more work to do, but literally I've just got those pencil lines there that I've actually stretched out. Still in lockdown. I think we're going to be in lockdown for a while somehow. The world's changed a lot, even a great deal. Just watch those drops, so I'll just drip off and run straight into your picture. Don't want that. So it's going to take me a while to do these and all the other lettering I've got to do. So I will come back when I've got more done and show you the neighbours left, right and centre. Everybody's hunkered down in their houses. And we'll go from there. But yeah, it's still even just the little slice marks there. But we've got the main section of it done, which is pretty good. Alright, for this section here, I've got a little squeeze bottle, like so, tiny little metal end on it, and I am just squeezing out, it takes a bit of pressure, the paint from the tube. Sort of gives it a bit of a three-dimensional effect once it's done, and I'll do that over a lot of the stars as I go along. And there we have another one, and that just makes them sort of pop out a little bit more. And just when you've got the differentiation, I mean this one here, I can see the white underneath there, so I'll end up doing that with a red squeeze bottle, which is this one here. I actually put this tape on the top so it doesn't dry out in the nib, because you just end up clogging up the end of the nib, but that just keeps it nice and dry. And then this one, because we can see the white, we've got to be careful of that. Really careful, that just came out too much. That's way too much. That's a bummer. Some little mistakes as we make as we go along. That's obviously become very, very drippy. That's a bit better. Yeah, we don't need a lot. There. There. More bubbles in it than anything else. There. There. Up to there. That one's a bit wet, as you can see, but it'll dry off. I think. Yeah, and it ends up a little bit more three-dimensional as well. But I'll let that go, I'll let that dry for a little while, and then continue on with some other stuff as well. Okay, well I've actually started putting these little paint tubes together. They've got got little sayings on them. This one's creativity, discipline, patience, passion, dedication, and the last one I'm going to do, and I'm just using a black pen for this, is desire. And there are many qualities that you have to be an artist. These are just some of them, and all I'm doing, as you can see that there, I'm just using this black pen to go over the gold leaf. I just sort of spray this with a matte fixative once it's done, just to keep that all there. And these will be strategically placed around Eric, which are the qualities that you obviously need to do this. I mean, remembering always that, you know, I paint because I love to do that as a living, but it's still my business as well. And a lot of people, when they get involved in this, just sort of, and you're allowed to do that of course, just paint, but they always disappointed at the fact that they can't sell their work or make a living out of what they do. And it's the things that Eric teaches and that we teach at Colour in Your Life that enables artists to have a better understanding of the things that they do need to do to create a great career for themselves and to make a living out of this. I mean, there's some artists that do incredibly well, and some artists just make a living. I can't complain, my life's been quite good. So, and this last one here is, and I'm just doing those freehand, is desire, like so. And now we'll spray these and we'll stick them onto the painting. We go from there. Okay, now this is sort of getting close to the end of this. There are a few things I'll still do, but I'm just going to take the contact cement and put it on top of our little tube, like so. It's been fun putting this together. I hope you've enjoyed it. And then I've got 6 of these with various little insignias on them. So I pointed out before. And then this one, and down here like so. This one says creativity on it. You can see that there. And this one is going to go just in here, just across that shoulder there, like so. I'll do all the edges on these with more with gold squeezed out of the tubes some stage as well, but as you can see, and these will sort of tend to lift up a little bit as I go along, so you just got to push them back down again until they tack and they grip properly. So I'm going to put a whole bunch of those all over the situation. That looks pretty good, but it's fairly bright, must admit. It looks like a Toulouse-Lautrec poster, but it's come out quite well. I hope Eric's happy with it as well, and yeah, and hopefully we'll be doing some good things with Eric as time goes along, and go from there. But I'll finish the rest off, and then we'll close it up and go from there. Thanks very much. Okay, folks, as you can see, I have finished it. There's really not much more to do, and as you can see, it's got a little bit more personality in it, I must admit. But it's definitely coming at you at 100 miles an hour. But it just conveys all of the things that Eric has done, and you know, the fact that he does take people to places like Monument Valley and New Mexico, and it's just in Colorado, San Francisco, all over the place to do these wonderful conventions, and obviously all of the other things he does, teaching artists how to manage their careers. So we're going to be hopefully working closely with Eric in the future, and helping to promote his videos as well, and also the art marketing courses that he has also. They really are amazing. A lot of the stuff that I am aware of myself as a successful artist. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. Another piece done. I'll start on another one. I've got one sort of percolating away already. Obviously the virus is affecting the whole world. We've had to change our mind thought and our paradigm completely, but getting some stuff done, and hopefully we'll get this out of the way at some stage. I hope so, for everybody's sake, and we can start to move around the planet again and enjoy this beautiful world, and hopefully look after it a little bit better than what we have been, of course. But thanks very much. Be good.